Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to wait here for a minute until people can find the video. We've got a couple second delay. So if you're watching the replay, I'm just talking to myself. Hi, Ryan and Jacob. Good morning, Logan and Brady and Morgan. We're just waiting here to see if some other people find our video. Hi, Eileen and Max. Good morning. If I don't say good morning to you, it's because I'm not Facebook friends with you, and so I don't know unless you talk to me. I will do my best to read comments this morning. I'm getting a little better at it, but not much. So bear with me. Welcome to Sunday school. I'm just going to wait for a couple more seconds. I'm so glad you guys are all here today. For some reason, I'm getting a little hoarse this morning. I don't know. I guess I'm not used to talking to people anymore. And then I scratched my nose in front of everybody. I'm so sorry. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sunday school. I'm so glad you're here. Feel free to talk in the comments, and I will do my best to read them as we go along. Oh, good. We're getting some more people in. Hi, Nicholas and Emmett. And Ivy, good morning. I'm glad you guys are here. So this morning, we're gonna join in together and rise and shine before we start anything else. Now that I see that we've got a few people in, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to Sunday school. My name is Susie, in case we haven't met before. And so before we start Sunday school, every Sunday we sing Rise and Shine. So I have a feeling that a lot of parents are learning the words. If you don't know them yet, that's okay. And I'm sure your children will help you learn them. So it goes something like this. Rise and shine and welcome to Christ the King. Rise and shine and welcome to Christ the King. Rise and shine and welcome to Christ the King. We're so glad you're here. And I'm so very glad you guys are here today. It's kind of a gloomy day outside. I look that way because that's where my window is. It's kind of gloomy and rainy. And it's kind of a bummer. So today I have a tissue. And we use tissues when we have to cough or sneeze or blow our nose. And another time that we use tissues is when we feel sad, when we need to dry our tears away from our eyes. Today we're going to read a story from the Bible, and it's one of the times in the Bible when Jesus cried. Jesus was sad. One of his friends died. And the siblings of his friend were very sad, and the family and friends of his friend Lazarus were very sad. And Jesus was sad too, because he was feeling grief. He was feeling very sad for the loss of his friend. And there's things that make me cry. I cry sometimes when I fall down and I get hurt. I'm sure a lot of you guys cry when you get hurt. And I cry sometimes if people say mean things and it hurts my feelings. Or even if people don't say mean things and they've just done something that just hurts my feelings. Sometimes right now I feel more emotional than normal. I cry when I'm sad. Right now, I miss my friends. I miss seeing you guys. I miss being able to see your faces and be with you in person. I cry because I miss my normal routine. And I'm sure you guys do too. You miss your friends at school and your teachers. So that makes it all sad, right? And sometimes I just cry because I see somebody else that's crying and it just makes me cry too. And you know that Jesus cries too, and knows when we are sad and knows when we are weeping and we are not alone. That Jesus knows what our sadness and our grief feels like too. So I told you about the time that Jesus cried when his friends were sad, and he was sad because his friend Lazarus had died. So today I'm going to read you a story. It's called Lazarus in the Spark Story Bible. So if you have your yellow story Bible, pull it out. If you have a blue one, you're going to have to look the page up because I still haven't gone to church to find my blue one. So I just have the yellow one, and know that it is on page 440 in the yellow Bible. All right. Good morning, Jameson. So we're on page 440. I will do my best to move my body so you can see the pages as I'm reading. All right. So it's called Lazarus. It starts on page 440. 3 of Jesus' good friends included a man named Lazarus and his sisters, Mary and Martha. Jesus was on a long journey when he found out that Lazarus was dying. It took Jesus a few days to travel to his sick friend. When Jesus arrived, he saw Lazarus' sister Martha, and she had some sad news. Jesus, Lazarus is dead, cried Martha. I wish you could have arrived earlier. You might have been able to save him. Jesus tried to comfort her. Martha, don't be sad. Lazarus will live again. Martha believed what Jesus said. Then Lazarus' other sister Mary came to greet Jesus. She wished Jesus would come sooner too. Jesus, if you would have been here, Lazarus might still be alive, she wept. She also believed that Jesus could have healed her brother. Jesus was sad because Lazarus died too. He cried and cried. Jesus, Martha, and Mary went to the tomb where Lazarus was buried. Jesus saw some people standing there. Take away the stone to the tomb, he said. So there's Jesus and Mary and Martha. They're crying. And then you can see squiggles down there. The people were surprised at what Jesus said. Martha reminded Jesus that Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. They had already made his body ready for burial by wrapping it in special clothes. But Jesus knew what he was doing. He insisted that they open the tomb. When the heavy stone was rolled away, Jesus said, Lazarus, come out. The people were frightened and amazed when Lazarus came out of the tomb. Since his hands and feet were all wrapped up in burial clothes, the people had to help Lazarus. When the people saw Lazarus alive again, they laughed and sang and danced. Many people that day believed Jesus would bring new life to all people. So there's Lazarus. He's coming out of the tomb, and they had to help him. They're all so happy. They had to help him get the grave clothes off. So Jesus was traveling, and Mary and Martha's word for Jesus to say their brother was sick, and they wanted Jesus to come and heal him. But Jesus didn't make it in time. Jesus is capable of performing miracles, but he didn't make it in time. So they were really sad and frustrated that their friend Jesus hadn't come when they wanted him to come. But Jesus still came. Jesus was sad along with Mary and Martha for the passing of Lazarus. And he said, take me to Lazarus, and roll away the stone. And the sister of Jesus, Lazarus has been dead for 4 days. We live in the desert. It's a smell. Okay, and he's wrapped in clothes. You really don't want to see this. And Jesus said, no, roll the stone away. So they did. And then he said, Lazarus, come out. And Lazarus came out. And back then, they would prepare people's bodies and wrap them up with burial spices, strips of cloth, kind of like what we imagine a mummy would look like. And so Lazarus, surprising everybody that was there except for Jesus. Jesus is exactly what was happening. Lazarus came out and he had burial cloth bandages all around his head and around his body, his arms and his legs. So he kind of came out needing help to get his arms and his legs bound. And everybody was excited that they helped get the cloth off of Lazarus so that they could greet their friend and their brother again, and that he was alive too. So I am glad to know that when we cry, Jesus cries too. And that Jesus loves us so much that when we are hurting, that God hurt too and knows our pain. So when we go through hard times, like right now, when we go through hard times and things that are a little scary, God, Jesus, feels what we are feeling too and is with us while we are going through it, and will be with us and guide us through it. And in the end, even though it might not be when we want it to be, it will all be okay because we have a promise from God for eternal. So before we go on to the crafts, I'd like you guys to join in prayer. So take your one hand and wave it in the air, and take your other hand and wave it in the air, and we're going to count to 3, and we're going to put our hands together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Dear Jesus, I know that when we are sad, that you cry with us. Please walk with us during these days when we miss our family, our friends, our teachers, our school, and our church. It brings us great comfort to know that you have power over death and the grave, and that one day we will be in heaven with you, and then there will be no more tears. We pray all this in your holy name. Let's grow this. Amen. Amen. So, I'm going to, hi Jack, I'm glad you're here. I know there's a lot of, oh, hi Oliver. I know that there is a learning curve to how to watch our messages, and that's okay. And you can always watch a replay. So, 2 crafts for you today. One of them is going to be a mask that you can make out of a plate, or you can cut a paper. So here is my mask of Lazarus, and you could make a mask of paper of the story of Jesus calling Lazarus out of the tomb. So what I have is a paper plate, and I colored mine because the bandages are this color is the plate. So you can look for crayons or markers, colored pencils for any flesh tone that you'd like. I don't even know what it looks like. And you're going to color your paper plate all over the back of it, okay? Pretend like I did a nicer job. And then you might get a grown-up depending on how heavy duty your plates are. And unfortunately, I don't have any cheap ones. I have the nice ones. But you are going to either, if you have, you can fold it, start cutting to make, that's going to be a good face, but I'm sure that's the face that they're going to make. But anyway, oh, that's a really big eye. Okay, so you're going to cut some eyeballs in it. This one's not the greatest. And you're going to find something in your house that you can use to make Lazarus's burial clothes. Okay, so please me if this has USRs. And you're going to find something that you can make burial clothes with. So you can use a tissue, and you can tear it up. You could use a paper towel, and you could tear that into strips. You could use yarn, or you could use, I have a rag here that you could tear up, yarn, if you have white pipe cleaners, string, you can use really anything. I ended up on this one, I used masking tape. So you'll need glue or a stapler or tape, and nothing's tearing well for me. So I'm going to show you with a piece of tape because I can't get anything to tear to stick up here today. Maybe get the tape to tear. So you'll take pieces and strips and you will wrap Lazarus up because that's how they prepare their people to go into the tube. So you'll put tape or bandages or anything that you want all over it. So then you can also take a popsicle stick and glue that onto the bottom or onto the side. So you can make that to hold it as a mask. You could put holes in it and tie string around the back. And like I said, you could make a mask for every character in the story. You could make paper dolls to tell the story. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make a cave tomb out of a cup. So if you have a styrofoam cup or a paper cup, or if you have like a red Solo cup, if you have a plastic cup, you're going to need to use paper to make the tomb instead of cutting it, or instead of coloring it. So since I have a white cup, or if you don't have a cup, you can use a coffee filter. That will work too. We have brown coffee filters in my house. If you have white coffee filters, that will work too. So you're going to need a cup or a coffee filter. And then you're going to need a toilet paper tube. I'm going to turn this into Lazarus. And if you don't have a toilet paper tube, you could also use a clothespin. Okay. So you need those things, markers or crayons, and then the same kind of materials that you used to wrap before. You'll need paper towel tubes, or don't use toilet paper. That's right, Chris. Don't use toilet paper, whatever you do. Normally when we do Lazarus, we would use toilet paper, but we know that there are people that don't have things. So you can tear up little pieces of Kleenex that you can tear up, or a paper towel. So here's a toilet paper tube. This is the same one that I used from when we made a well the other week. So, but wait, I started with this. So you take this paper cup and color it, okay? Make it look like stone. And then you're going to cut a door out of it. But in order to make the door, you don't want to cut the third side. You only want to cut two sides, and then you have to bend it very carefully because it's going to break. To make it open up so that the stone, that you roll back, okay? So I have one here that's done, and I wasn't very careful, and it ripped off. Okay. And then you're going to take your paper tube, and you're going to make a face. So I'm going to give two eyes, and I'm going to give it a mouth, make it like smiling, because he's alive again. So there's Lazarus. And you'll need glue or tape or a stapler, and you'll take your glue, and you'll kind of hope that it works. That's funny. Anyway, the glue's not working, but I have some tape. So you'll wrap your cloth around Lazarus. And you can use whatever you have at home. You can use yarn. If I was at church, I would have yarn or string. I don't, so I am with paper, which is bad. So you're going to wrap and make a Lazarus, and then you stick him in the cave. And you have to be Jesus and say, Lazarus, come out! And there he is. So if you don't have a toilet paper tube, you can use a clothespin. And this clothespin's got a face on it. Then you could wrap string or pipe cleaner or a piece of tissue, tear up. I said you could tear up a piece of a rag. Ask your mom and dad before you do that. And then you can make a little Lazarus here out of a clothespin. So those are my craft ideas for you this week. There's also on our website, I have a recipe on how to make Play-Doh. And then there is a recipe on how to make, at Halloween time, you might have made them like mummy dogs. We're going to call them Lazarus come out of the tomb hot dogs. You take a hot dog and a crescent roll, wrap it up. You guys could maybe make that for supper this week. So those are the ideas that I have for you. Before we go, I want to tell you guys that I miss you, and I hope that you are well and staying healthy and listening to families and being kind to your siblings. Do your homework, take showers or baths, brush your teeth, and wash your hands. So please stay healthy, and I will see you here next week at the same time. And before we leave, we're going to hold hands with those around you, or if you do it yourself, you can hold yourself. We're going to sing our goodbye song. If we all said a prayer for each other every day, what a wonderful world this would be. I would ask God to bless you and keep you every day. Know what you'll say is there for me. Go in peace, bring God's love to life. Thanks be God. Have a great week, guys. Wow.